Hi everybody, good morning. Sitting out here in the morning sun. I got my coffee and I just want to talk a little bit about meditation and anything that comes up as I'm talking about that, as I know it probably will. So meditation is something we've probably all heard once or twice in our lives. Maybe it's something we've integrated as a practice or a sort of self-help technique or method. And I just want to talk about that. Meditation. What is meditation? How do you meditate? How do you know you're meditating? Why to meditate? Should you meditate? All that kind of stuff. So let's first just take a moment to be right here. And what's interesting is when I say that, let's be right here, the mind, notice what it was that you just went through or you just did in the period of time of me saying, let's just be here. Maybe the mind was thinking, all right, I'm going to try to be here. I'm going to try to just be here. Or maybe the mind was saying, I'll just, get on with it. I came here to watch a video and hear you talk about stuff. Or maybe several 10, 20 thoughts popped up of a completely unorganized manner of memories or what you got to do today, or you don't have time for this, or you forgot something, or you're remembering something. And that's kind of the idea of it is, when you hear meditation, you think of just be here now, or be in the moment, or stop thinking, or just breathe. You hear all these things, so you go, okay, this is kind of interesting. I want to see what this is all about. I'm going to try to do that. I'm going to try to be here. I'm going to try to focus on my breath. I'm going to try to be in the moment. But I feel like we don't understand in a very deep sense. Me saying that is just that it's taken me up until this very moment and all the days preceding it for years now of beginning to grasp and understand what it is to just be in this moment, to be here now, to be with this moment. And in my experiences of meditation and everything I've learned revolved around meditation and spiritual practice is in regards to just that we have a hard time being here now, just being with this space. There's this entire sensorium taking place. I don't know what it is for you, but for me, there is the sound of the airplane and cars driving by and the sound of the bugs and crickets chirping and the wind blowing and the feeling of sitting on this ground right now and the feeling of my body and its different points of contact with the ground or itself, the sound of my voice, the sun shining, And all this is being spun through the thinking mind. The thinking mind, the analytical mind, the conceptual mind, which is sort of compartmentalizing things and trying to make sense out of them. And the thinking mind is also, it's the thing we're trying to maybe witness or contemplate on or loosen the grip of when we're meditating. What do you think of when you think of someone meditating, or you think of meditation? Usually you think of someone sitting, usually in the lotus position, with their eyes shut, and you think how they're contemplating or they're doing meditation. And there's this kind of urge to like nudge them and be like, hey, what are you thinking? What are you doing? What are you thinking about right now? And there are all sorts of different methods and techniques of meditation that utilize different points of focus in what they are trying to do. You know, in traditional meditation, if the being is meditating and you nudge them and you say, what are you thinking, or what are you doing? And they're actually in a meditative space, or they're just trying to sound like a meditator, they'll probably say, I wasn't thinking anything. I wasn't doing anything. If they say I'm meditating, they're busy thinking they're doing something, which is in itself a level or a complex of the mind that is still keeping them from the mere being in this moment. So they're not actually meditating, they're trying to meditate. That would be more accurate to say, I'm trying to meditate. I'm trying to get into a meditative space. Or if you ask them, what are you doing? Or what are you thinking? They might say, I don't know. Because they weren't involved in the mind in the way that we usually are in our day-to-day lives. Meditation isn't... It's a lot easier to talk about what meditation isn't. Meditation isn't another activity or event or thing to do to make us feel good and satisfied. In a sort of roundabout way, if you're properly meditating and you're properly integrating a meditation practice, it is easy to say that, and it makes complete suitable sense, that meditation is a satisfying activity or a satisfying exercise. But in the essence of meditation and in the meditation itself, meditation isn't an activity or an event or a sequence of happenings in the way that we are used to experiencing those things in our day-to-day life. Usually, meditation is a matter of letting go of or reducing receding from the active mind to be equal to this moment, or one with this space or this experience that is happening, that is a happening or an experience. To merge into this moment. That's what meditation is about, is being in this moment. And the thing is, we don't understand what that means or what that entails, to be in the moment. And when we are in this moment, there is no mind, there is no body, no body, no buddy. The only body that is present in a space of meditation is the vast, infinite spectrum of life itself, eternally. And there is no time, there is no subject and object, there is just this moment. And we're all thinking of how to get into this moment and what that is like and why we should do it. And it's the reason meditation is, people think meditation is complicated, or meditation is, some people, if they have the understanding that meditation is to stop thinking or think of nothing or don't think, some people may believe that meditation is impossible, and that it's a sort of spiritual hype, that you can't stop thinking. That's not the way the mind works. We're always thinking. You can't think of nothing. You can't not be thinking. But I beg to differ with that. You can indeed stop thinking. You can indeed stop being the thinker and the experiencer of these thought complexes and concepts and planning and remembering and regretting and hoping and wishing and scheming and analyzing and compartmentalizing and trying to understand. We most certainly can experience a space that is behind or beyond or not involved with that whole system, which is the mind. It is most certainly possible. And the reason we say you can't do that, or that's impossible, or no, you don't understand psychology, that's not how the mind works, is because the culture that we live in and the day-to-day lives that we carry ourselves in don't allow for that space to take place on demand or through a technique. We don't have a means of going beyond the mind, so we are always in the mind, thinking and contemplating and analyzing and remembering and planning and hoping and all that stuff. We don't know the way out of the mind. We don't know the way beyond the mind. We don't know how to be here now. And usually, I mean, not usually, but beings will have experiences where spontaneously, seemingly beyond their own control and beyond their own planning, they experience a space where I wasn't, they'll say things like, I wasn't thinking. I was out of my mind. I was in the flow. There was no time. It was just, and it was like I wasn't even there. And psychologists will call this a flow state. And we experience this through many different routes or vehicles, if you will. most of the time, hobbies and different recreational activities that we enjoy participating in or doing, they allow us to go into a space or to taste the possibility of a space that is beyond the matrix of thinking that we live in every day. And the reason they like doing these different activities, and for every person it's going to be different, the things they like indulging in to witness or to be with that space. Some people like to read, some people like to go hiking or surfing or swimming or playing sports. Some people like to take drugs and chemically alter their mind and body to a degree that they are in a space that is what we call an altered state of consciousness, where they are outside of the realm, the regular realm of their mind, the regular and rational realm, where they experience irrationality and out of their mindness and bliss and euphoria. And some people like to sit and meditate to get into this space. And we're all trying, what we're all really trying to do through all these different things is to be here now. To be completely and entirely one with this experience. Because strangely enough, when we are one fully with this experience, the essence of it, the nature of this moment, is peace, serenity, happiness, expansion, relaxation, no complexes of what I should do, what I shouldn't do. Should I do this? I don't like this. The nature of that space is okayness, acceptance, liberation, happiness. And when we experience these states of happiness, which we all know the taste of and know the bliss of through all the different avenues in which we're trying to get back there. Because that's all we're really trying to do. Is we want our job to make us happy, we want our relationships and friendships to make us happy, we want to have hobbies and activities that make us happy, we want to just do stuff that keeps us happy. Because we know, or at least we assume to ourselves, that we most certainly know what it's like to not be happy. We know what it's like to be sad, angry, suffering, nihilistic, cynical. We know what it's like to not accept things, to not be in the flow of this experience. And we don't like it. And what we're doing, what carries our lives through the conditioning of being born and everything we've been taught and how our parents treated us and the schools we went to and the traumas that we went through and all that conditioning that taught me to even be able to talk right now. All that conditioning is the basis in which we live our lives. The basis in which we say, I'm going to change my job. I'm going to get in this relationship. I'm going to take up this hobby. I'm going to move. I'm gonna stop doing that. That's not good for me. That doesn't make me happy anymore. I'm gonna get out of this relationship. This isn't making me happy. I'm gonna do this, that, and the other because there is a space that I know so well that I am not happy. And we're sort of running out, we're looking, we're trying to find that thing that will last, that space, the thing that will elicit everlasting acceptance. And psychologists and Buddhists alike will tell us nothing lasts. You can't experience happiness constantly. Happiness can't be experienced constantly, and happiness just so happens to be the thing that we're trying to get, where it's all okay and we feel so good and everything's funny and beautiful and I love you and it's all right and oh, what that person did to me, whatever, that's fine. Like I'm happy. That space, they're right, it doesn't last. It's not forever. The reason it's not forever is because it's being born out of a system of, I can say, karma, consequences, and scenario, and circumstances is more so the word. That happiness is born out of circumstances, where we get ourselves involved in this thing, and our mind is in just the right space, and we don't got anything going on, and when we do that thing, we feel happy. But then, as we all know, it might last for a while if it was a very grandiose thing that we did, or it might just be a fleeting thing, like if you do a drug, or if you just indulge in some sort of immediate gratifying experience. Like even tasting good food, there is a moment where it's just like, that's so, But the taste buds taste it and we swallow it and the saliva rinses out the taste that was so pleasurable, and here we are again. And there is not the rush of that experience that we just went through. And we start thinking, I gotta do that again. I'm gonna do that again. I'm gonna eat that again. I'm gonna go do that again. I'm gonna take that again. I'm gonna read that again. I'm gonna go swim there again. I'm gonna go play sports there again. Because we need to get back to that. And it's as if the very basis of our experience is dissatisfaction with this moment. Non-acceptance, unacceptance of things as they are. And like I was saying, happiness doesn't last. It's fleeting. It's coming and going. It's circumstantial. But on the flip side of that, on the other end of the spectrum, your suffering doesn't last either. The actual rush and drama of the suffering itself doesn't last. Because we are smart enough to know how to do things that move us on. And some people, although we all want our happiness to be the everlasting thing, a lot of people in this world, many people, so many people, their suffering is lasting. Their dissatisfaction is lasting. The feeling of non-contentment, the feeling of dissatisfaction in whatever they do, wherever they go, whatever they do, whoever they talk to, however they spend their time, this feeling of fundamental dissatisfaction is still there. And it causes us to spend a lot of, and the reason it causes us to do this is because of how we're living our lives and who we think we are. But this feeling of fundamental dissatisfaction causes us to experience what seems like everlasting unhappiness, dissatisfaction, suffering, sadness. Sadness which begins as sadness and then transforms into anger and resentment and cynicism and denial and pushing away. And we all know the kind of being, we all know someone like that, or have come across a stranger like that you can just see the pain. You can see the hurt that they are going through. And they've armored themselves, they've shielded their heart, their loving soul, their loving heart from this world and everyone else, because they did everything they could to be happy. They did everything they could to get rid of this negative feeling, but they failed. They couldn't do it. So they are going through the motions of life, looking out, waiting for the next thing that's gonna piss them off, that's gonna show them why they're right, that this world sucks. They're not seeing the beauty and the happiness and the buoyancy and lightheartedness of the world around them because they are in such pain. So all this stuff we're doing, whether it's someone that's suffering seemingly all of the time because they can't find the everlasting way out, or somebody that is perpetually seeking the hobbies and activities and recreations that allow them to experience even a moment of happiness. In my understanding, what they're trying to do is they're trying to find the way, find the vehicle through which they can be in this moment. Trying to find the way to just accept life as it is, to be here now. And fortunately, that's what meditation is. That's what meditation is all about. That's what all the scriptures, the ancient teachings and descriptions of meditation are talking about, is everything I just said to you. This perpetual pushing away and seeking and grasping and clinging and there it is, and there it goes, and not this again. I am feeling, this sucks, and how do I get out of this? What the hell? This life sucks. I feel like this, so I'm gonna use my mind to describe it, and I'm gonna say, this sucks. Life is hell. This is pointless. This is horrible. Like, I used to be so happy, and then this X, Y, and Z happened, so now it's That's what the teachings and the sort of definitions and understandings of meditation are talking about. It's saying, hey, life is complex. Life is very deep. Life is very deep. In fact, it's infinite. The only finite limitations there are the ones we conceptually impose on them. I could tell you, I could ask you, find the limits. Find a limit without using your understanding of what you've been taught a limit is. Find a barrier. Find a boundary. Find the edge. Find the cap without using your understandings of what those things are. Find it. Where is it? Where is the limit? Where is the boundary? Where is the separation? Don't use your mind to do that, because that's where limits and separations and boundaries reside and are born out of. And what is also born out of this mind, this thinking mind, is happiness and suffering, sadness and anger and seeking and averting, staying away from, avoiding. And the apparent ego, the self that I am, is born out of this thinking mind. It feels a way, it does a thing, and it says, I'm happy, I'm sad, I don't like that, I agree with you, I'm gonna do this, oh, I'm late, oh, I'm just on time, oh, I don't like this, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. I am me, I am a human, I am life, I exist, I matter, I love you, I don't like you. All sorts of it, all sorts of the I. Born out of the mind, influenced to be spoken of and made manifest through the things we've been taught, through the conditioning that we've all been through. And the reason I'm talking about all this and going all off on it is because this is what we begin to witness and understand and feel the momentum of when we meditate, when we take up meditation as a practice, not as a, I'm going to do this to feel better, I'm going to do this to get another rush because I'm unhappy. This is self-help. This is what spiritual people do. Meditate. So, okay, I'm going to sit and I'm meditating. I'm meditating. See how long that lasts. I'm meditating. Oh, wow. I'm spiritual. I'm meditating. I'm being in this moment. Oh, I wonder what I'm going to do tomorrow. Oh, listen to that sound. I wonder what kind of bird that is. I'd really like to do this. Oh, I wish that person would talk to me. Oh, I want to talk to that person. We should hang out. Oh, I shouldn't have done that 5 years ago. Oh, wow. I'm meditating. Oh, wow. This is life. Boy, this meditating is kind of boring. What's the point of this? Couldn't I be doing something better? I could be eating right now. I could be out on a walk. I could go to sleep. Oh, I gotta go to work. I can't meditate much longer. I say see how long it lasts, and then we realize when you sit down and when you meditate, when you're the one meditating, that's what you can count on. Is the non-ceasing thinking, remembering, planning, wishing, hoping, regretting, reanalyzing, reevaluating, analyzing the things in this present moment. And see, that is not the root or the essence or the spirit of meditation. That is the mind doing what it always does. It's just now sitting, trying to meditate. And there is a form of meditation. There are all sorts of different techniques or styles of meditation that utilize different points of focus that allow us to see into the different aspects of life, self, happiness and sadness, emotions, the mind. And there's a form of meditation called contemplation meditation, or contemplative meditation, which consists of sitting. I mean, you don't have to be sitting, you can be walking, but it might be a little hard. You're sitting and you witness the mind doing that thing. You witness the mind doing its trip. I'm this, I'm that, what's that? Oh, remember that? Oh, I hope for that. Oh, the whole thing. You witness that. And if you don't have a sort of background or understanding of why you're witnessing that, or why you're looking at that and observing that from a seemingly disconnected or objective point of view, and looking down at the thinking mind, you're not going to know what to do with that contemplation, with that contemplative, meditative experience. And you will sit, watch your mind for 10-20 minutes, and then get up and say, okay, that was a nice meditation. I sat and watched my mind for 20 minutes. But you might notice that there's not we don't know how to integrate that. We don't know how to do anything with that. So we might think, meditation, that's like boring. That's not really for me. Oh, I don't know how to meditate. Oh, it's like I was saying earlier, that's impossible to stop thinking. The mind just always thinks. It's because we don't have a understanding of how to work with these different techniques of meditation. When you're doing contemplative meditation, the point, if we even want to put a point to it, is, and honestly, in the essence of meditation itself, the point isn't to get happy. The point isn't to get another rush out of life. The point isn't to be spiritual. The point isn't to do this because this is what spiritual people do. The idea of it, the nature of it, is to rest and fall back into this moment for any period of time, which allows us to see the patterns of the mind and how it creates the very reality we live in, and the very I that lives in said reality. That, in contemplative meditation, it's a matter of becoming very familiar with the way in which the mind is thinking and remembering and looking towards and looking forward to and analyzing. And it's a matter of witnessing the trip, the play of the mind. And contemplative meditation can be more difficult because if you're someone that is already quite intellectual and already quite contemplative and philosophical and deep thinking, you're going to come out of a contemplative meditation thinking, that's what I'm always doing. I was just thinking, and I saw myself thinking, and how distracted I am, and watching the mind is what we're really always busy doing. Watching the mind earnestly is what causes us to feel like we are the mind, and we are the coming and rising and falling and coming and going of thoughts and emotions, which in turn makes us feel like we are at the whim of the mind, and we are the mind, and what the mind says goes, and that's who we are, and that's what we're doing, and that's what this is, and that's how I feel about you, and you're right and you're wrong, and that's why contemplative meditation can be a bit difficult, because there isn't a space behind it. But there is a space behind the mind. There is a space between the thoughts, as you may have heard it put before. And there are many different forms of meditation that allow us to tune into that space. And those techniques are the techniques of meditation that I am most associated with. Because I'm the kind of person that, like I was saying, very philosophical and always thinking and seeing myself thinking, and I'll sit down and do a contemplative meditation where you just sit and watch the mind and come out of it realizing that's what I always do. I'm always doing that. I feel like that's what we're all really doing, is just watching the mind and going, yeah, okay, all right, let's do that. Oh no, yeah. Just going with it, going with the mind, which is beautiful. But there are styles of meditation in what they utilize is finding a point of awareness, of attention. And the way it is instructed is to focus on one thing. And the idea is to keep that one thing going, to keep it in awareness. So it might be the breath, in through the nose, out through the nose, in through the nose, out through the nose. Or focusing on the belly, rising, falling, rising, falling, rising, falling, rising, falling. And even in that little period of time of me saying rising and falling, you and I both can probably witness how our mind just is thinking of all sorts of stuff while we're focused on, or trying to focus on, this one point. Or there's also a mantra, repeating a word or a phrase. Ram, 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 ram. Or Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Or in bhakti yoga or devotional meditation, we may be singing, where we may use a little melody or a tune to sort of hold our attention inside of it, and to please the ears in the beauty of this devotional melody. Something like Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om Jai Jai Ram, Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram, Om. Or another one. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murtai Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Nirarambaya Tejase. Or a more common one. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is the kind of meditations and techniques of meditation that I'm more accustomed to. Is find the point and just melt into it. Rising, falling, rising, falling. Or maybe a more steep point of meditation where we don't do anything. This might be too intense for people, but because it's like, how do you do nothing? But you just sit, and that's all. Just sit. And you're not doing anything in particular. Nothing to do, nowhere to go. No one that's doing, no thing to do, no time, no reason, no point or meaning, just this. And it's very hard to describe the intellectual reason as to why we're doing this, or why these meditation masters instruct these things. And the reason it's hard to describe is because it's not words. The experience of meditation is just that. It's an experience. It is equal to and one with life itself, awareness itself, which is not words, it's not an idea, it's not the mind, it is. Everything I've said and everything I will ever say ever is a metaphor. Take the moon as meditation. What I'm doing is I'm pointing at the moon. And if you listen to the words, it's like looking at the finger pointing to the moon, when the point is the moon. Look at the moon. But it's hard to look at the moon if we don't know what to do and how to get there and what it's about, until we begin to regularly experience it ourselves, or have a glimpse of it ourselves. Because once you experience it, you don't forget it, but you may not be able to describe it, and you may not know how to get back. And you may realize that everything everyone is doing is trying to get to what they think the moment is. Because in that moment, as I was saying earlier, is peace, acceptance. There's no self that is inadequate. There's no self that is better than or worse than. There's no self to judge the self or others. There's nothing wrong. There's nothing to do. In this space, what you are is everything. It is all of this. There is no time and no space, and there is no separation and no reason and no problem in the essence of existence. Existence is complete and perfect. And you are existence. You are existence. You don't simply exist. Existence doesn't exist. You are existence. You are this moment. And taking up these methods of meditation allow us to tune into that, or to remember that. Remember, wow, I am beyond this I. I am beyond this thought right now. I am beyond these feelings and these memories and these problems and addictions and hopes and wishes. I am. And even that, what I just said, that realization, is in the mind and doesn't even hold a light to the experience of what I'm saying. If you think these words are a metaphor and just a description, and it sounds pretty, and it sounds beautiful, and it sounds just right on with what you're about, try actually experiencing it. Because in that, it's not words. There are no words. It's the space of non-duality, where all these words I'm using to describe this become the happening. You realize it. You, in the deepest sense of that word, you realize all this stuff. And this might be this might be too trippy, too philosophical, too deep, too much. Maybe you're getting into meditation to just calm your mind down, to stop being so distracted, to do what you think being in this moment is. And that's completely okay. But as you rest more and more in these spaces, in this space of meditation, don't be surprised if this crazy, trippy, far out stuff that I'm saying begins to slowly creep its way into your mind. Because if you're in a space of meditation with this moment, and if you're even meditating, you already have the prerequisite understanding of what you're doing and that you're a part of this thing that you've been taught, and know that you can extricate yourself from that prison of imposed reality. Don't be surprised if slowly you start to realize, I am so much more than my mind. I am so much more than this body. I am everything. It's all one. These people aren't talking out of their behinds when they say these things. It sounds like that when we are used to talking out of our behinds. What would the spiritual thing to say? What would that be? Oh yeah, it's all one. Yeah, it's all one, guys. Isn't it so all one right now? This is so spiritual. That begins to die. That begins to lose its oomph as we rest more and more and more in meditation. Problems live and are born out of and die into the mind. Problems only happen to an ego. And the ego only lives and is born out of and dies into the mind. Memories, again, live, born out of, and die into the mind. Imagination of the future lives, born out of, dies into the mind. The mind is overwhelmed. The mind has everything going on in it. It thinks it does. And when there is an I that is experiencing it and understanding it and trying to learn it and trying to control it and trying to handle it and trying to figure out just what the right thing to do would be, or what it wants, what it doesn't want, how it messed up in the past, how it's afraid of messing up in the future, the that ego, the created self, can't handle it. It can't handle it in the sense that it can't maintain equanimity while trying to control, predict, and rework reality. And so what happens is it suffers. It feels distressed. It feels uncomfortable. It feels overwhelmed. It feels sad. It feels angry. It feels hopeful, thinking that's the way out. That's the way out. That'll do it. It feels confused. All the different emotions are born out of the ego trying to figure it all out. And meditation lets us see this. Meditation allows us to see the I in action, the I in karma, the right here and now, a momentum of the reality that we are creating for ourselves and imposing on others. So all this crazy shit that I've just said and have been saying, you don't need to believe this. You don't need to even understand this. But in my understanding and in my experience, when you take up meditation for what it actually is, of resting eternally in this moment, like I said a while ago, don't be surprised if these crazy, what seem crazy things and realizations and epiphanies start to take place, of that we are creating our reality. There is more to reality than the mind. I am free. I just am. All that spiritual woo-woo stuff, you might not be in meditation for all that. But definitely don't exclude it. Definitely don't turn a shoulder at it just because it sounds a little more far out than what you're looking for. And when I say that meditation isn't another event or activity or thing to do, is because that is my genuine understanding of it. And to think of doing meditation in the same way that I would go and play a video game or take a drug or eat tasty food or all that, the recreation of seeking. Meditation will start out as a seeking, but when we familiarize ourselves with it, we realize the space of meditation, that doesn't coincide with me sitting down and meditating, and then I'm not meditating when I stand up and move about and go about my day. Meditation is this moment, always. And meditation isn't a thing we do. Meditation is a way of being. It's life. You can't, when you meditate, when you start to understand meditation, you can't not meditate. It becomes a part of your life. You can't help but recognize the breath or see, there I am again, reacting, overthinking, there I go again, creating my reality. Oh, look, he's seeking. Oh, look at him, he's trying to get happy. Oh, look how sad he is. Talking about myself, Meditation is a deeper awareness of the, I've heard it, the matrix we're all a part of. And once you see it, and you keep allowing yourself to see it, you can't unsee it. And that's why you can't fall off the spiritual path. The only way you can fall off the spiritual path is if you didn't even believe in it in the first place, and you were pretending to be spiritual. You were pretending to be deep and wise, and what's going on is there's no shame in it. It's you You saw this spiritual teaching and you thought, that is beautiful. That sounds so cool. I'm gonna wear it as a personality coat. I'm spiritual. I'm spiritual. In the same way we see a hobby, or we see a book, or we see a location, geographical location, and we say, that's crazy, I'm gonna live there. I'm gonna visit that place. I'm gonna read that book. I'm gonna do that activity. And we say, I've read the book. I did the activity. I'm an activity doer. I have visited that place. And that is the ego seeking, 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 seeking. Wearing, resting in, feeling content, realizing it doesn't jive, and moving on. That is the idea of falling off the spiritual path. But when you see the ego doing just that, it's all over. When you wake up to the reality that you're creating for yourself, you can't not see it. You can't get away from it. You'll go a week or 2 weeks or a month or whatever without meditating. And just somewhere you're going to remember, wow, look how long it's been since I remembered. Look how long it's been since I remembered, since I came up for air, since I realized, I'm doing it again. When you see that you're doing it, it's all over. You can't not see that you're doing it. And at first, even if you wake up, like say you take a psychedelic drug, and you experience this flash where you realize all this crazy shit I'm talking about. You realize I don't exist. There is no time. I'm creating who I think I am. Who is it that's creating who I am? What is existence? What is this? All those things I thought were problems. They're not. I made it up. I am a conspiracy. I am an illusion. I'm pretending. Are you pretending? This is scary. Tell me you know this. Are you pretending? Oh my God, he's pretending. This is scary. You know that kind of trip? Coming out of that experience, you may go right back to what you were doing. And you may, as I've heard Ram Dass put it, his first experience with psilocybin, he had that experience where he transcended the mind. He transcended time and space and ego. And it is reality. But 2 weeks later, he was telling everyone about an experience that he had. And what happened was the chemical wore off, which was the very catalyst to that space, one of the catalysts. There's, of course, a whole array of circumstances that allowed for the being to go into that transcendent space. But the chemical wore off. The conditionings and habitual patterns of thinking and being and what reality is and what I need to do and what my role is and what problems are and what I want and don't want, all that reasserts itself, because it doesn't disappear just because you were on this chemical for 4 or 5 hours. It doesn't just go away. And the same is implied with meditation, that you see it all. You're in this timeless space and it's all apparent. but you hear a car door shut, or a bird, or someone yells your name, hey, dinner's ready, or you got to go to the bathroom, or something, just something in karma, in this reality, happens that brings you, quote unquote, down from that space, and everything that you think you are and what you think reality, it all reasserts itself. It all comes rushing back in. And you think, oh, I came down. Oh, they interrupted me. Oh, I was just meditating and now I'm not. I was so high and here I am again. And our roles, karma, that is karma. Everything reasserts itself. You can't meditate forever, at first. At first. You can't be high on acid or be high on psilocybin forever. You can take the chemical all the time and be biologically under the influence of it, but things are going to get a little weird. As Ram Dass says, you'll always come down. You will always come down. Someone will always yell your name. You'll have to go to the bathroom. You'll get hungry. You'll get tired and fall asleep. Karma reasserts itself. And this whole thing of karma is where our entire role of, oh, I came down and dude, I had this crazy experience last week, like I was saying a moment ago. You'd never guess what I experienced. You'd never guess how it seemed things were. But where you're talking from is the ego that you transcended in that experience. So the ego is remembering that transcendent experience it had. And usually the ego will want to go back to that. Or maybe it gets scared of that space. Because what people talk about of ego death is merging into this moment, where in this moment, as it is, the moment itself, you are not. The mind is not. You are not thinking. No time, no space, isness. And if this is chemically induced, like with psychedelics, it's frightening. It can be horrifying because we're grabbing. We realize we want to be the one suffering. We want to be the one trying to control, because at least in my suffering and in my self-pity, I exist as who I think I am. But in this flood of the psychedelic, who we think we are is no more. And as it goes out kicking and screaming. Saying, no, let me, I don't want to be on this. I want to be normal. I want to be back to who I think I am. And this doesn't usually happen with meditation, because meditation is something we can be doing wrong for years. We can not wrong, that seems too steep of a word. We can be thinking we're meditating for the rest of our lives, but not once being in this space of, I can't describe it. But if we grasp this space and begin to continuously take it as a practice, put ourselves in this space, apply the requisite techniques or methods to become this space, to stop, to just stop. There may be a very slow burning ego death of a type. Where all those things you used to do to get a rush, to get happy, recreationally, you start to think, I don't feel like doing that. I don't really want to do that anymore. Honestly, I'd rather just sit and be with existence. Or those people that you used to talk to. As you deepen your meditation practice and your spiritual journey, you might not want to talk to those people anymore. It's not like nothing's wrong with them. It's not like you don't like them. But there's not the rush of, we're friends, let's go and do this. And this, in the same way that the psychedelic experience can be horrifying, this experience of losing the personality that you used to be, who does all these things, has all these friends, has all these hobbies and activities that he does, when that all starts to fall away because who you are is coming to deeper and deeper and deeper understandings of itself, it can be scary. You can be thinking, no, I want to enjoy doing those things. I want to keep hanging out with this friend group. I want to keep, come back. I'm losing it. I'm losing you guys. I'm going crazy. I don't feel like me anymore. Or even maybe your friends are telling that, like, you're different now. Like, you're weird. Like, you don't want to go do this. You don't want to go get drunk. You don't want to go, like, do this activity. You used to love that. And it can be very conflicting because you are becoming content. You are becoming content with things as they are. And maybe everything I'm talking about right now is way too wishy-washy and far out and overcomplicated for some of you, and that's okay, but everything I'm describing is like what have gone through and am going through, and I hope at least some of you in there know this crazy shit I'm talking about. If not, that's alright. Just listen to this nutcase ramble on about what he thinks reality is. When you really take in spirituality and meditation, you begin to undergo changes. And these changes can't necessarily be described as this is what it is, that's what it is. You can't really touch on it. You are changing. Your diet changes. What tastes good and what used to taste bad is changing. How you spend your day changes. You may have started out just doing your crazy stuff, doing your recreational seeking pleasures and arguing and gossiping and Maybe you just meditated for like 5 minutes at the end of the night, and you may start realizing now you're spending 1 to 2 hours throughout the day in a meditative, just resting, just being with this moment. Your thoughts and your philosophies are all changing. Who you think you are is undergoing this drastic shift. How you talk, how you communicate to people is changing. You begin to want to be there for people in a way that you didn't consider beforehand. It's pretty hot out here right now. I'm sweaty. Like, my legs are just covered in sweat. Someone just pulled into my yard. See, that's karma, you know. I'm sitting here trying to make this video, or I'm making this video, and beyond my control, this person pulls into the yard, and they might like come over and talk to me or something. They're probably not gonna, but like, that's how things go. Things just happen. Things just go. Yeah, he got out of his car. Looks like he's kind of walking towards me. You guys want to see me interact with this guy? Hold on. He's walking towards me. I don't know this person. I don't know this person. He's walking right towards me. Watch this. What's that? Yeah, he would be inside. Yep. Just go that front door right up there. There's a doorbell. Just ring the doorbell. Okay. Yeah. Well, thank you. Yeah, not a problem, man. All right. I have no idea who that is. Apparently, him and his wife are here to see my grandfather. See, this is all meditation. This is all the moment. It's all the moment. Nothing we need to do. Nowhere we need to be. Nothing wrong. All these emotions that shift and flow, and in one moment we're chilling, fine, we're content. Another moment we're uptight, overthinking, remembering, oh, I had it so good a few months ago. Oh, where am I gonna be in a few months? What should I do with my life? It's all okay. It's all right. Trust life. Be here now. Feel your breath. Be your breath. Honor and love all these beings around you that are just like you, just with this different dance, this different pattern of being. And if they're being mean to you, don't be mean back. Understand that they're going through a lot. They don't know what reality is in the same way you don't know what reality is, and I don't know what reality is. They don't know how to be happy. They don't know how to see this world as love. Give people space to be just what they are. Give yourself space to be just what you are. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to be a certain way. This moment is perfect, and we will learn as we learn. We will do as we do. Thank you guys for watching. It's such a gift to be able to just share, hit record, and make this video talking about stuff that's always running through my mind, and be able to share it with you guys. And I'm probably going to make a post or one of those poll options on YouTube. But if you've watched this far, let me know in the comments, because I want to find a way to interact more directly with you guys. And I was thinking to myself that I could go live on certain scheduled times, or even do Zoom meetings, Zoom calls that allows anyone and everyone to come in and watch and participate and talk and ask questions and tell stories and share themselves as they do. And yeah, if you're watching this, just let me know in the comments, would you rather me go live on YouTube at specific times, or would you rather me start a Zoom meeting at a certain scheduled time, or if you don't even care and you just like to kick back and watch these videos. But yeah, for me, it would be so cool to record conversations of us talking together, listening to each other, asking questions and giving what we think are answers, and hearing each other and our different things we've been through. And yeah, it would just be really cool to, in the moment, interact with you guys rather than just making this video and uploading it and you watch it as you do, which is beautiful as itself. I love doing it so much. But yeah, it would be very cool to interact a bit more directly with you guys. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm gonna go probably take a shower and maybe play my game, my video game, get another cup of coffee. And later on today, I have a driving test. Try and get my license today so I can be a certified driver. That's who I am. I'm a driver. But yes, you guys have an amazing rest of your day. I love you all so much. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope this video helped or was just fun to listen to have going throughout your day, whatever you're doing, whatever time of the day it is for you. I hope you know what I'm saying. I hope I don't seem like a complete nutcase. It's okay if I do. Life is far out, guys. I hope you know what I'm saying in regards to meditation not really being exactly what we typically think it is, you know. So again, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. See ya.